Welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show, coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow our CHGO White Sox community leader at Ecknerwall23. And I think this is our first time with the new score bug. Look at that. That's very pretty.
Super easy to work too. Oh my God, it's 1,000 times easier.
Nice, and it looks cleaner. So there you go. You can see the White Sox won.
Yay! Yeah. I had money on the other way,
we had money on the Diamondbacks.
But whatever. Congratulations, White Sox. As Fred says, Sox Padres. The race to 100 comes down to the wire. The White Sox need to win 2 out of 3 versus the Padres, who are currently, as it stands, still in the playoffs mathematically. But if the Marlins or Cubs win one out of the last 4 games that they play, the Padres will be gone.
And it seems like Blake Snell will not be starting in any of those games for the Padres. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Seems feasible. We'll see what happens. They get their 61st win of the day or the year. And
the White Sox are throwing their best pitchers. Cease, Clevenger, and I think on Sunday, I forgot who was going to be pitching. So
I mean, how can you forget any names in this just dynamite rotation?
Probably Schultz on Sunday or something like that.
It's their best pitchers, but we can't name all of them. It's what's his face and, who's his face. It is Cease, Clevenger, and honestly, in my opinion, their best starter.
Their best starter? Touki just pitched today.
I'll sit here until you name it.
Yeah, you will be forever.
Take your time.
I am lost.
No, this is good entertainment.
For the person that you're referring to.
Play
it through? Yeah. All right.
So you said it's not Touki.
Not Touki. Not Schultz. Not Clevenger. Not Cease.
Okay, so this is you name 4 of the 5 guys. Who is the 5th guy?
I'm just so lost.
Name the 5th pitcher for the White Sox.
I was like, it's not Kopech because he's on the IL. So
the only reason I know this is because I looked at his name.
Okay, so I don't know.
Honestly, I don't mean to put you on the spot here. I think this is a great just example of what the 2023 White Sox are. We'll ask Vinnie when he joins.
Not.
Sarah, do you know?
Don't even. I have no idea.
Right. So you who have hosted the White Sox
Does any of the people who are watching know?
I don't know. Is the comment section? Oh, there you go. Matthew
Lucas
gets
I forgot it. Jose Urania. I forgot he was on the team, even though he pitched the other day.
Yeah. Hey, he didn't really shove, as they would say, against the Diamondbacks. Shout out to AJ, who had a blast at the ballpark today with the 23,000 strong that they're there for $1 ticket day from the. It's not that.
Yeah,
the Goose Island landing. I mean, what
it used to be called the Goose Island landing.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you enjoyed your day, AJ, at the Goose Island landing. We don't use the.
And he said he was He said he was working from home too. Right, working from home.
Yeah, our home ballpark. So
yeah, had the computer out. Hey, you can get a lot done, especially during a 3-1 Boar Fest. That was the White Sox D-backs. Even though the White Sox did go over the fence 2 times.
Well, it was funny because that first inning, you see Carroll get on. Mm-hmm. Right, I forget. This game was a single. I think he gets.
Yep.
And then
stolen.
He steals a base, and Corey Lee seemingly had a great pop, but it was just his long arm swing. And I'm trying to give Corbin Carroll credit here because it really seemed like Corey Lee knew he was running. It was a good pitch to throw on. He got a great pop on it, and honestly, he just needs to shorten up his arm slot or arm swing or whatever, arm motion to get Carroll, because Carroll is so fast, got a great jump, didn't waste any movement, and got in there perfectly, and that's why he's got 50-plus stolen bags.
Yeah, and I think if you do shorten up your arm slot, you will have less velocity on the ball, so maybe you wouldn't have it as good as you would if you would just throw it full force. But I say, hey, you tip the cap. That man's got, 55 stolen bases now as a rookie, and we're talking about last night and Acuña going 40 and 70. That's a person, him, Bobby Witt Jr., that in the future might challenge Acuña for that record that he has right now.
I mean, hey, if this is now a new thing with the pitch clock and the pick-off rules, then it's just going to be 40-70 every year. That might be fun. Let's get into. Well, wait. Let me finish the first inning there, because I thought it was just interesting that Carroll steals that bag. And then Ketel Marte tries to bunt him over.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing small ball in the first inning. The Diamondbacks were looking to get one run today, and they thought if they got that one run that they would be good, that they could just put the White Sox away if they got a lead in the first inning.
It's Touki Toussaint, too.
Right.
And remember, the thing is, the man was at second base. Ketel Marte is a switch hitter, but he was batting left-handed. Just hit the ball to the right side of the infield, literally. You would do the same. I know he didn't get the bunt down successfully, but I think he was more trying to go for a hit there, which, smart. But also, I would not. If I have 25 home runs, I'm the second batter on the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm not bunting for anything.
Well, I mean, the play was weird because he got down a great bunt and ended up going foul, and DJ or Lennon.
It was
Lennon.
Connor McKnight.
Steve. Yeah, Lennon Steve ended up discussing just that it would have been an impossible play for Touki because it was like halfway down the line. So Vaughn still had to cover first base, and Corey Lee really couldn't get to the ball quick enough. I guess Corey Lee has the easiest throw there, but even then, when Touki picks up the ball and tries to throw, he's basically going to be thrown at Marte's head. But then, he pulls it on the ground to second base to move Carroll over to third. But then Tommy Witt gets on, he walks, and he's got 21 steals and 3 caught stealing, but he doesn't actually try to steal the base, which makes no sense. And Christian Walker strikes out in a high curveball. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you guys tried to play small ball, but didn't do it. So you guys got way too much into your head. Maybe, Christian Walker just should have went up there and tried to hit a home run like he did twice on Tuesday instead of, just really focusing in on one run. Anyways, on today's show, we'll talk a little bit about Yoán Moncada. We'll talk about new senior advisor to pitching, Brian Bannister. And we'll start off a little bit with something that happened last night in a completely different baseball game. What'd you make of the whole Ronald Acuña stealing his 69th and then 70th bag of the year? And then in the 10th inning, once he stole that 70th bag, he picks up the base, celebrates, and then they play a highlight montage. We saw Boog, Shambi, and JD have some umbrance with it. What'd you make of the whole faux pas?
I thought you should always, every time you get a chance to celebrate. And especially a historic number like 40 and 70. Like 40-40 was a huge thing. I don't know there's been 4 guys that do that before Acuña did it. Not that many people did 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. And it is, he blew past that. 70 stolen bases, and I know bases are bigger this year. The pickoff rule, it lends to more stolen bases and successful stolen base attempts. But for JD and Boog to go off, I get whether they're salty because they're in the top of the 10th or the bottom of the 10th inning. It's a 5-5 game. Their team has just blown the second time to win the game in consecutive innings. So they're a little salty already because of that. They know the inevitable's coming. But I would say you should be more mad at your manager that chose to still pitch to Ozzie Albies with a 1-1 count with the base open. I get it. It was 1 out, I believe, at that time, too. So let's force a double play. And, you got Murderer's Row coming up next. It doesn't matter. It's the Braves. They got a bunch of hitters. But I would have walked Ozzie Albies there. And David Ross had an atrocious series. Absolute atrocious series. But you should celebrate most of your victories, especially an accomplishment like that. And I guarantee not a damn word would come out of Boog's mouth, nor JD's, if that's the Cubs. If they're doing that for, say, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, etc.
PCA.
Yeah. If they're doing that for them, they're not talking. They're not saying a word. They're sitting there in the glory of it. Oh, man, what a great thing. This guy is this, that, and the other. So that's the hypocritical stuff that I don't like. And he could say whatever he wants to. Boog say whatever he wants on New York Times interview to Ryan Glass-Steagall. I just think you got to be consistent with your criticism. If the Cubs would have did it, you would not have said a word. So I don't want to hear it when the other team does it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I have an issue with is just Acuña stealing the bag and then them playing a highlight montage. I'm fine, especially with him in his own park, hitting that milestone, getting the 70th stolen bag, 40-70. No one's ever done it before. And him getting 30 seconds, minute, shit, if they're generous, minute and a half standing out. But let's get the game on. It's the 10th inning. You fucking kidding me? Come on. they're going to have a home game tomorrow. Do you know what you could do before the game starts when there's enough time to do stuff? Pre-game festivities, like playing a highlight montage for a guy that did something. I mean, give him a standing O when he comes up to the plate today, too. Who cares? Do whatever you want. That's fine. I guess just the highlight montage might have been a little bit over the top. It's like, okay, we're playing a baseball game. We're going to have now Acuña lift up the base, a highlight montage. Nickelback's going to perform a quick concert. We got a fireworks show. Then we'll resume the game, pick it back up with Acuña on second.
I mean, they did it for Cal Ripken Jr. when he broke the record for most games played.
That was in the 10th inning. He did that in the 4th inning? And they knew it was happening?
When it became official. I would say, I don't care when it's done. It doesn't matter. Well, it's playoff implications. As I said before, all the games leading up to that game had playoff implications. The Cubs would have won 2 more games in April. Guess what they wouldn't have been doing? Are these games not important to the Brewers? Are these September games important to the Brewers? Why? Because they won more games in April and May. They did their work early. They did their work on Friday. Cubs are over here like Sean in third period. When in the fourth period, when fourth period math is needed, he's fucking writing down the answer. C. And so
I wasn't that panicked.
Do your work early, then you won't have these things at the end, and then you won't be crying about this, that, and the other. I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow. The team is blowing a bunch of saves late in the game. But don't take it out on Ronald Acuña. Don't take it out on all the fun that the Atlanta Braves are having. If you want him to not celebrate things, throw him out. Get him out. I know it's easier said than done. But also, when he does an accomplishment, especially stealing 2 bags in that game, you just got to sit back and wait for him to do his thing. And I have no problem with him. Celebrate all your day. If it happened to the White Sox, I would do the same thing. I would feel the same way.
I think that if Jose Altuve this offseason hits 7 home runs, that they should actually stop whatever playoff game is going on after he hits his 7th home run, his career 30th postseason home run, after he passes Manny Ramirez, a record nobody cares about, and they should play a 15-minute highlight montage of every... Yeah, honestly, and play the extended cut, play the at-bat, see how it came out and came to be. Play the trotter on the bases. I mean, I don't who cares, you know? I mean, if we're going to be celebrating everything, celebrate it all, you know?
I don't really care. I don't care, and I actually, life is tough. I mean, you guys at home, you know that. Life is hard. And if you want to celebrate even the most minute thing, celebrate it. And the dude made an accomplishment that people will be looking back at and say, hey, that was the first guy who went 40-70. What a grand achievement. They didn't do it after the game. They just won the game. What, do they have a special ceremony after the game just so you guys, Cub fans, can be happy? How about this? Your general manager get a closer or not Palencia. Because every time I see that sumbitch come to the game, it's bad. So maybe just go and get some better pitchers. Maybe you won't be in this situation. You get the 3 outs in the 9th, guess what? There's nothing to worry about. You get Ozuna out, nothing to worry about. You don't see the celebration maybe until today.
And real quick, shout out to Eric Davis for his 1986 and 1987 seasons. You put those together
I don't know why I'm pointing at this guy.
He's still alive. Per 162 for Eric Davis over those 2 years would be averaging 40 home runs and 81 stolen bases. Insane stuff. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I don't have too many issues with it, but you know, whatever. People are gonna do whatever they do. Honestly, if I actually get upset at this, like you're talking about, you know, the stress of like your baseball team being in the postseason, I can't actually get stressed about this.
No,
I do not care. Like at the end of the day, if they played the highlight montage or not, my life is no different.
Exactly.
So, you know, whatever. I would love if a White Sox hit 40 home runs and stole 70 bases. Hey, let's see. Why doesn't Luis Robert Jr. put us in this situation?
I mean,
right? I mean, I would love to see if the White Sox play a highlight montage if he steals 70 bags.
But the only problem with Luis Robert Jr., remember all the times he gets hurt.
Oh yeah, I wasn't.
All the times he gets hurt are stealing bases. The scope injury last year to the wrist. This year, what ended his season was the knee. Sorry, not career. End of this season was the knee trying to steal second, did successfully steal second. And so, yeah, I would say no, don't do it because you're not good at stealing bases without being hurt. So just do the 40 home run part. Or if you want to do the 70-40, go ahead.
Right.
70 home runs, 40 stolen bases, do that one.
Just hit 80 home runs.
If you do that, I better not hear a damn person talk about, he took some time off. Why did he grab second base after he stole the 40th bag when he already had 70 home runs? Celebrate that, man. It's awesome. It's a great achievement. And I wish I had Ronald Acuña on my team. Give me Kevin Pillar. You see what he's doing?
No, what is Kevin Pillar
He's hitting like 290, I think, at the bottom of their order. Like whatever the Braves touch turns to the gold. Kevin effing Pillar.
Pillar hasn't been that bad for his career. He's got an OPS plus of 76.
Yeah. OPS plus of 76?
OPS plus.
You said of 76.
76.
That's
He's hitting 247.
This year?
Yeah.
I thought it was higher than that.
Where you see he's hitting 290.
There was somebody batting ninth hitting.
You feel free to check those out. I think you reading the right Kevin Pillar numbers?
No, not the right one. Who was in the ninth inning?
I think you're thinking of Kevin Pilar.
Pilaf
Kevin.
Rice.
I think it's Kevin.
Kevin Pilaf Rice.
Kevin Pilaf.
Let me look at yesterday's. They had a guy who was batting ninth that was hitting like 290.
Before we hit the break, and before Herb looks up who's hitting 290 in the ninth hole for the Braves, I do have just one thing to bring up. A good dear friend that I've never met, Ozzie Guillen, said on the broadcast today when he picked Andrew Benintendi to be his pick to click, that Andrew Benintendi has been the most consistent player on the White Sox. Not the best, but the most consistent. You bring up Luis Robert Jr., and I don't know what this man needs to do. I don't understand what people need to see from him. I don't know what else he needs to prove to you folks. Since May 2nd, he has an OPS of over 900. So
is that good?
For 80% of his season, he has been over an OPS of 900. There is not a White Sox hitter right now in the lineup with an OPS over 800. So, hey, maybe, 80% is only a B to some people, but I think that's consistent enough. Out of what, the 4 out of 5 months he played in, he was consistent in 4 out of the 5. Like that's good enough for me. Andrew Benintendi has been consistently a horror to the eyes. So, just fade that shit.
He, Chris Kamka of NBC Sports Chicago tweeted out a thing that said that Andrew Benintendi has the highest on-base percentage for the White Sox at like 325. And it was like, there are like 5 D-backs with one that's over the 325 mark. And it was Orlando Arcia. He's hitting 270 with 17 home runs, with a 751 OPS. He was the 9th hitter yesterday.
They taught him to hit because that was,
It was a Brewer, right?
Yeah, he was a Brewer, and Cody was talking about how much he hated him when he was a Brewer. And thank God he was on the Braves, or just saying that he was so bad on the Braves, and he doesn't understand now that he's good. But yeah, the Diamondbacks have a 341 OBP out of the 9th spot in the order today, and that's leading the White Sox. We got Vinnie Duber in the green room. We'll get to him in a second. We're going to tell you first about our friends over at Ray Chevy. Are you in the market for a new or used vehicle? If you are, then we have some great news for you, because Ray Chevy in Fox Lake has just joined the CHGO team. And when we were talking to the Ray team when they joined, they told us about their pledge, the Ray Price Promise. It's a guarantee that the price you see online is the price that you pay when you go into the dealership. We found that in many cases, other dealers will raise the price on you when you come into the dealership, asking things like, are you a recent college grad? Are you active in the military? Are you a farmer? And in most cases, the answer will be no. And that's why, and that's when other dealers will raise the price on you, saying the price online included limited rebates that you did not qualify for. At Ray, that is not the case. The price you see online is the price you pay, with no add-ons to the price ever. And in fact, Ray will do everything possible to find additional savings for you, which may make the price lower than you see online. As one of the top-selling dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and save big at Ray Chevy, because they now have over 100 Chevy Trax models available at starting at $21,495. And now through September 30th, all buyers can qualify for 0% financing, make 0 payments until 2024, plus put no money down, and best of all, pay 0 hitting fees with the Ray Price Promise. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or visit raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Find new roads. Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake, raychevrolet.com. And that's where you get to check out the Ray Price Promise, get to see all those lovely prices, and then you get to go into the Ray dealership and say, hey, I found this price online. And they say, hey, let's get you the best deal.
Yeah.
And there you go. Boom. It's a promise, folks. And finally, want to let you know about Goose Island. Herb, what you drinking?
I'm drinking a delicious 312 from our folks at Goose Island.
Is that your favorite? You know, let's just say we had the Goose Island magical fridge here.
Okay.
And you would open it up, and it holds one beer.
Okay.
Right? You know, it holds one beer for Herb. And you think of it, you think, I want this beer from Goose Island. You open the door, boom, there it is. What would be behind door number 1?
The Matilda.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, that is my favorite beer. I've just tried it this year for the first time. It's been around forever, but it is undoubtedly a great beer, not just a good beer, a great beer.
Go check it out. They got the 312 that Herb's drinking. They got the Matilda that is his favorite. They got the Beer Hug family, so you could try all 4 of those flavors. They got the full pocket pills. And, of course, if you want to feel festive, there's a chill in the air, folks. Go try their Oktoberfest. They got the seal of approval from our typical producer, Steven.
Courtney, my fiance, got some Goose Island Oktoberfest beers the other day. She enjoyed them thoroughly.
Boom, there you go. They've been Chicago's beer since 1988. CHGO supported by Goose Island Beer Company. And go enjoy their beer thoroughly. Grab an Ultra Fresh Brewery exclusive beer at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. Vinny, it's almost the weekend for us, and we're going to welcome in Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Go follow him at Vinnie Duber. Do you have a favorite Goose Island beer? It's basically our weekend. I'm not sure if you're going to the park tomorrow, but hey, TGIF, what beer would you be cracking if you had the magical Goose Island fridge? What's Vinny's beer that would be behind the Goose Island beer fridge? We're having the issue again.
Uh-oh.
He's in the green room. Hold on one second. Yeah,
muted?
Steven was having this issue. You have to make him go live. You're all good, Vinny. No, he's currently in preview mode, so you have to make him go to live mode. Yeah, Vinny, now talk. No. Okay. All right. Is the volume up?
Yeah.
We good on the volume? Okay. All right. We'll troubleshoot Vinny, and we'll get back to that. I was going to ask Vinny about Brian Bannister, new senior advising to pitching. I did ASS. Oh, sorry. There's the all sports scene.
Yes.
Also with their acronym being ASS, and they brought up the idea of senior advising to pitching. They were thinking, John Hamm and Mad Men, a pitch.
Okay.
So then I thought of the idea. There's the meme of John Hamm in a Mad Men meeting, looking with a blank board behind him, pitching an idea, and it just says "Get outs." I have this great idea for you. Get outs.
As a senior advisor to pitching, guys, this is the key right here. Get outs. Go.
Score runs. Get outs.
He's like, that's what I told the Giants. That's exactly what I told Kevin Gausman. Look at him now, guys. He was like, what? Get out? His head just fucking exploded.
This is Brian Bannister's master plan. We are all good to welcome in Vinnie Duber. Darn technology, always updating and then changing the way people do things, and it makes their job a little bit different, and then it delays our hardworking Vinnie Duber, who's out at the ballpark. Vinny, we haven't gotten to the game today, so why don't we dive into that, and then we'll get into Brian Bannister. I thought we were going to throw to Brian Bannister's video, so that's why I was setting that up. But we haven't talked much about Yoán Moncada. He's our king of the game. Went 1 for 2 with a walk, had a home run, and as you pointed out, in his last 40 games, 18 extra base hits. I don't know if Monkey talked after this game, but we heard so much about his back, how much he really wasn't feeling right when he came back in those last, before those previous 40 games. But he's looking real right, especially from the right-handed side. So any update from Moncada, either from Grifol or the man himself?
Yeah, we get to talk to you on. First of all, man, I really want this magic fridge. But second of all,
you didn't answer it. Do you want to answer the beer question first?
I mean, the 312 is so reliable, obviously. You can get it in any bar in town, which is why you got to love it. But if I had a magic fridge, right, the idea is that the bar at the end of the street has the 312. I can go pick it up there. The magic fridge, you got to get something a little wild, a little crazy. So, the Sophie is not crazy, but I like it a lot. They had something, was it last summer? 2 summers ago, I think. It was called Sounds Queer, I'm In, which I loved. It was so good. It was like passion fruit or something like that. It was very delicious.
Sounds
so
delicious.
I don't know if you can get that anymore, but I remember picking up some and being like, yes, I want this. So yeah, that'd be my answer there. But to talk about Yoán Moncada, boy, he's looked good the last month and change. And I asked him point blank, I go, if you felt this way, if you felt healthy and unbothered by back injuries and baseball injuries that have kind of dogged you throughout the last few years, is this something you could do throughout the entire season? Is this the kind of player you'd be for the whole year? And he didn't just say, yeah, he said, oh, if I felt like this, I could do more. So, I mean, he knows the kind of player he is, and I don't think he's been able to show it in 4 or 5 years at this point. And, that's been very frustrating for him. It's been very frustrating for the White Sox. It's been very frustrating for White Sox fans, obviously. But if you want something at the end of what could still end up a 100-loss season to, put on the wall and say, well, at least we got that to look forward to next year, healthy Yoán Moncada is looking like the guy who you would expect him to be. Of course, it's going to be the same story as it's been the last however many winters. Can he stay healthy for the whole year? Can he be the guy who is pain-free and feeling like this over the course of an entire season? We finally saw Luis Robert Jr. do it for the most part this year, even though he's going to end the season on the IL here. But we haven't seen it from Eloy Jimenez. We haven't seen it really from Yoán Moncada since 2019. We haven't seen it the last few years from Tim Anderson. It remains the big thing with this team and this core. And if it's going to stay together, if those 4 guys are going to be back next year, it's going to be the number one story again. And certainly, though, when it comes to Moncada, here you are getting a glimpse, even if it is just a brief bit here at the end of the season, of what that can look like, what healthy Yoán Moncada can look like. It sounded like that back injury was pretty bad, guys. I mean, like it's, I think everybody is so sick of these guys not being healthy that they've kind of turned it around and it must be their fault that they're not healthy kind of thing. He was talking about it being a sharp pain that he was dealing with all the time. That's not good when you're trying to move your back to swing a bat or make a play at third base. And it's no wonder when you hear the descriptions like that they're not going to be at their full capacity and operating like the players they know they can be. So, again, no one's using it as an excuse like, it was actually a good year because he was just hurt and didn't do it, and couldn't do it. No, of course not. They're mad, they're frustrated, they're upset. But if, like I said, if you want to look ahead to next year, and this is a guy who, because of what he's going to be making next year from a dollar standpoint, is almost certainly going to be there at third base, man, if he can stay healthy, you might be able to see this over the course of many months, not just one at the end of the season.
And speaking of another person that has pretty much recovered from a terrible July, that Andrew Vaughn. That man had his 8th home run since the month of August has started, and we recall his first 2 years here just being worn down. The first year was his first year of playing baseball in that many games, and he was playing left field a lot. And this second year was a lot more of that, a lot of left and right field, and he wore down again. It's good to see this man hitting the ball with a little authority, even though he missed that pitch that he hit over the fence. He didn't barrel that up. It still had the power to get it up. Has he spoke recently just about how well he's feeling right now? Because the stats back up that he's doing not great, but he's doing good.
On the last homestand, I got to talk to him for a short while, and he told me that he's feeling good, that things have gone well, that he's focused on making it so it's going to be even better, right? He spent a lot of time in the weight room to try and prevent what he experienced the last 2 years, right, which was kind of, like you said, wearing down at the end of the season, running out of gas a little bit. Pedro has talked about him a few times, including today after the game. I asked, how can Andrew get a consistency built up over the course of a season? Because, yeah, he's looking good right now, but is this it? You know what I mean? Like, this is not necessarily a season that everybody would stand up and go bravo. Like, the idea is that he is supposed to be much more. And that's basically what Pedro said. He envisions him being a 30, 100 100 guy on a regular basis. And I think Sox fans would probably share those expectations given the way the organization talked about him as a player when he was, drafted, the brief time he spent in the minor leagues, and then when he arrived in the majors. I think that was kind of everybody's expectation for him, as high and as good as those expectations are. But I think, Pedro's main point was time. And as time goes on, he's going to learn the league better. He's going to get more accustomed to this. Again, I'm not expecting any White Sox fan out there to expect, to sit back and say like, oh, yes, we'll be patient and wait for Andrew Vaughn to learn every little thing he needs to wait. Of course not. This guy was brought up because he was supposed to come up and do this right away, right? But it is somewhat reasonable to hear Pedro say, he's only going to gain more experience, and with that is only going to come more positive results. So, again, I don't think anybody wants to see it take 3 years to get to that point, 3-4 years to get to that point at the major league level, right? But here you go. And again, if there's some sort of positive you want to grab here, because we're 3 days away from the final record being a gigantic negative, as we've experienced with this team the entire year. The one positive you can say is, boy, look at Andrew Vaughn at the end of the year here. Maybe he can figure some stuff out, take that into the offseason, and stretch that across 6 months rather than just 2.
I think it's funny that they're playing the Diamondbacks because, Christian Walker just won a Gold Glove, and obviously we see how terrifying he is to us now, but he really wasn't anything until he turned 31. You look at his years, didn't debut until 2014 with Baltimore, then got DFA'd by Baltimore, last played in a game with Baltimore in the major league level at 2015. Then it took him till 2017 to make it back with the Diamondbacks. Then they traded Goldschmidt in the 2018 offseason, giving Walker clear playing time in 2019, became a full starter, had a 111 OPS plus. In 2020 in 57 games, had a 112 OPS plus. In 2021, 115 games, I'm assuming dealt with some injuries, an 88 OPS plus. And then in 2022, his 31-year-old season came out with a 125 OPS plus, a Gold Glove, and then basically did it again in 2023. And he's 6 feet tall, so we know that he's the same height as Andrew Vaughn. So hey,
eye to eye.
Maybe it's not going to be there just yet for Vaughn. Maybe he does need a little bit more seasoning, but for a team that has 100 losses, I'm fine with him getting that seasoning and that experience here because, again, you're not tied to Andrew Vaughn from a contract standpoint like you are Yoán Moncada. But I do think that 2024 is definitely going to be a year where they definitely try things out and experiment. And, hey, maybe this is going to be the last year, 2024, of Andrew Vaughn in a White Sox uniform, and maybe they think they can get a different piece in the trade market, or maybe they stick with it. But I'm excited to see Vaughn because, again, the pedigree's been so high with him, and it does feel like he's getting a little bit more comfortable at first base, too, defensively. So, hopefully Vaughn can turn it around. Let's talk about Brian Bannister. We'll take a quick break. We'll go to the Banny video, and then we'll ask Vinny about what it was like to talk to Floyd's kid, because he's going to talk about Floyd, his dad, and about being a White Sox and all the people he knows, and he's going to name 5 White Sox that he knew from the 1983 team, and 4 of them either worked or currently work for the White Sox. So
see if you can guess. Right now, you listen to the podcast or watch it.
Below
see if you can get the 4 White Sox he guessed.
Right,
he brought up.
We'll let you know about our friends over at Fubo. Fubo TV, they have 140 live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news, and you can stream live TV from any device and watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. You can watch Thursday Night Football tonight, the NFL, the Packers and the Lions on Fubo TV, and you can start watching immediately with a free trial at FuboTV.com/CHGO. There's no contract, no cable, and no hassle. Just sign up and start watching, and you get over 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. And when you are traveling, you can watch local teams. FuboTV.com/CHGO. You can watch college football this weekend. Again, NFL on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. They play basically every week. There's college football on tonight as well, and Friday.
Go KU.
Go KU versus Texas, right? Have you and Joey got into it?
Why would we get into it?
He's a Texas guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, no, we've been busy. I've barely said hi to him today.
I think he's wearing a Texas shirt today.
I wore my KU shirt yesterday.
A burnt orange
You guys
shirt.
have been coworkers for like 2 years.
You guys don't talk?
Yeah. That's like the two.
In my defense, Joey was gone for like 5 months.
He was
gone for a while.
You can also
talk about Big 12 times and how bad KU was and how badly Texas has beat them every time?
Hey, we're
and
a
how
football
badly they're
school
going to beat
now.
them on Saturday? What?
I think they are a football school right now. Well, that might be one of the games I watch this Saturday. Watch all your favorite college football and NFL with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/CHGO. That's FuboTV.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro, and you can start watching immediately with a free trial as well. And if you are new to CHGO, if not, you're a diehard. I did like AJ's comment. You and AJ were coworkers today, Vinny. With the 20.
How so?
He was working from home.
He was working at the White Sox game.
At the Light Landing, whatever the hell that's called.
Oh, very nice.
So because of the dollar ticket day, so if people
Sure.
brought their laptops.
Yeah, I was expecting more people to be doing that, considering they said they sold all those tickets. But,
Yeah. They announced
well,
like
they sold them. They
23,000.
announced the 23,000. There were not 23,000 people here. My guess being that, if you see $1 tickets for sale, you go, oh, I'll buy one, and if I can go, I'll go, and if I can't, it's $1. Who cares, kind of thing. I'll tell you this: there were a lot more people here than would have been had they not done that, because this was a game that didn't exist until less than a week ago.
And there was more people today than yesterday. Same start time, right?
Oh yeah, many more. Yes.
So there you go. Hey, they made $23,000 and more people showed up, so they got concessions. So there you go.
I hope Jerry got some ideas.
Hey,
make a dollar game every year.
Maybe what they should
every
do,
homestand.
Well, here's my thing.
He's like, hey, pause. Come on, calm down.
The first game of the homestand will be $1. Then, if you like what you saw, the second game will be $2. Then, if you like what you saw, you want to see the finale, it'll be $3.
You guys ever met Jerry Reinsdorf or any MLB owner?
Right? Yeah, or any person, any billionaire ever. They're all weirdos that want money. Anyways, you are a diehard. You're hanging out with us. We got 17 people that have already liked the video. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. We got you covered for all your Chicago sports, whether it be White Sox, Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks. We got NHL preseason, and we got you covered with NHL preseason postgame coverage for Connor Bedard's first preseason game. We have you covered if you are a sicko just like us. We got podcasts and live shows on every team every day. We got post-game shows, premium written content for members at allchgo.com, and we have great events like the tailgate that's coming up on Sunday, October 1st, Bears versus the Denver Broncos. And if you are a diehard, you get 20% off events, you get 20% off merch, you get dope merch from all teams, and you get a free shirt when you become a member and access to our CHGO Lounge, our members-only Discord, where you get to chat with all the diehards alike and your favorite CHGO personalities.
Did you see the Athletes First RV? It's going to be out there on Sunday.
Winnebago?
Oh, my goodness. Greg Braggs, Mark Harmon, come on out. This Sunday, 9 o'clock, tailgating with the Denver Bronco people. The DMVR people going to be out too.
Our people, our all-city people. And then finally, there's a sunny side for every season, whether it be summer, as we just ended it, or fall, football season. Who in Chicago sports made you feel good this week, Herb?
I'm going to go with...
We'll move on. All right, good job. Thank you for
Andrew Vaughn.
No, he didn't.
He made me feel awesome.
Mercy.
He had his 21st home run. I was like, man, what a great accomplishment, which is a career high.
Connor Bedard, because he hasn't debuted yet. If you are trying to own the weekend, check out our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kind of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside is everything you need to elevate your football season. No matter where you are on your cannabis journey, they have easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and they have a great transparency loyalty program, Sunnyside Rewards. They're Illinois' favorite dispensary. They're Herb's favorite dispensary. His favorite stop is the Wrigleyville stop. They got stops in Elmwood Park. They got stops all the way north and south Beloit. I don't know how south they go, but folks, they got you covered in Illinois. And Sunnyside's House of Brands include Mindy's, Good News, Cresco, High Supply, FloraCal, Wonder, Remedy. And through October 15th, head to Sunnyside.shop and use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, and it's not stackable with other promotions. That's not only for new customers. Anyone can use our code, so pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois Med Card holder. Sunnyside.shop. Use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. And now I'm going to look up where the South is placed for Sunnyside is. while I'm doing that, Vinny, let's go and talk about Banny, new face for the Chicago White Sox, senior advising to pitching. What was it like to talk to Banny today before we get in and hear about his connection to the White Sox and his father?
Yeah, I mean, he's happy to be here, certainly. I mean, this is a guy whose dad played for the White Sox, obviously, and he's got very, very, very fond memories of being around this organization when he was a kid. And it's kind of a cool thing for him to be able to come back here. I mean, I think we heard a lot of the same stuff from Josh Barfield yesterday, whose dad obviously is from the Chicagoland area. Hey, it's a bit of a homecoming kind of thing. And I think there is something that enticed these guys to be here that's more than maybe just a paycheck and a new start and an exciting roster or whatever they might think of the roster kind of thing. There's some connections here, and I think that they're excited about that. But I think you're going to hear White Sox fans a lot of things that will make you happy in terms of a guy with some ideas that he's bringing from other organizations into the front office. I think he's talking a lot about what we talked yesterday about, right, which is every individual player has an individual way of bringing out the best in them. And I think that's what kind of his thought process is on pitching, just like maybe Josh's was on coaching. Maybe the White Sox in general are thinking that way, kind of doing things in a lot of different ways rather than making everybody bend to one way.
Seems like the most southern location for Sunnyside is either Champaign or Danville. I think Champaign's more southern, but the Danville and one are kind of similar line here. Yeah, I got really excited when I read the transcripts and then listened to not Floyd. I'm going to do this with I did it with Josh and Jesse. I'm going to do it with Floyd and Bruce. Bruce, and now I'm seeing Bruce.
You're seeing Bruce Levine in the background.
Oh, mercy.
In the preview.
I'm extremely excited. There was a quote from 2017 when he was with the Red Sox that I found today from Jeff Passan that I'll bring up a little bit later. There was this press conference that's about 11 minutes long that we'll upload to our YouTube channel as well, so make sure to check that out in full. But it was extremely exciting, at least to me, to listen to Brian talk about his pitching philosophy, and we're going to share that with you now. Here's about 6 minutes that Vinny shot from the White Sox dugout. Thank you to Vinny for his work, and here is Brian explaining what the White Sox mean to the Bannisters.
It means a lot. If you go to my house, where my parents are, most of the photos in our house are at the old Comiskey Park. So I grew up, playing in the kids' game with the Ozzie Guillens and the Harold Baines and the Greg Walkers of the world, and those guys are very close to me. We lived, next to Luzinski, and Ron Kittle's special to me. There's just a lot of players throughout that time period that I consider friends and almost family, and so just to have this logo on me again and really build something special for this franchise with people that I care about a lot is very special.
What sort of ideas or vision do you show up here with, to trying to get this pitching staff to where you think it should be?
I think one of the things I've been known for, and I believe in strongly, is there's a lot of ways to get hitters out, and what we have to identify is what each pitcher's strengths and weaknesses are. Some pitchers are power fastball guys, some are sinker ballers, some throw split fingers, some are spin guys, and it's really empowering each department within the organization to know how to take advantage of those characteristics, how to train them on the strength and conditioning side, how to refine it on the analytics side, how to educate them on the player development side, and just really get every single coach throughout the organization really up to speed on all the concepts, and where they feel like they can coach and the analytics almost fall into the background and it becomes just a one-on-one relationship again. I think that's when you're firing on all cylinders.
With so many layers to pitching, do you have any philosophy that kind of stands out? What makes a good pitcher? And there's a lot to it, but any basic precept?
No, that's a great question. I think when I got to Boston, when I got to San Francisco, I talk about, you have ingredients in the organization when you get there. It's the drafts that have occurred in previous years. It's the players that are in the system. It's the expertise of the staff and what they're comfortable teaching. But ultimately, you're looking to bake the best cakes possible. You got to take the ingredients you have and bake the best cakes. And in Boston, that was a lot of power pitching. It was a lot of spin. In San Francisco, what we had was a lot of sinker ballers, and we leveraged that concept. And we had the lowest walk rate in baseball this year, the highest ground ball rate. You do what you can with the ingredients you have available, as well as setting sights on the future in the long term of going out and finding the best available arms and then taking them to the highest ceiling possible.
You'll be doing major league and minor league working across the board?
Yeah, it's an advisory role. It's not a pure coach like I was in Boston, San Francisco.
Right.
I have history with Ethan Katz. I worked alongside him in San Francisco. Many of the people I've already worked alongside. Andy Barquette, the minor league hitting coordinator, won a World Series with me with Boston. So throughout the organization, there's relationships that I'm looking to dive in there and make players better right away. And we're already scheduling a lot of things to really just empower people throughout the org to go out there and find the best talent available and really just start putting together a team that is going to be athletic, going to win ball games, and the players know what their strengths are and they're going to go out and play to the best of their ability.
Can you talked about being able to teach pitchers to their strengths and what they are, but can you teach to getting people out with current offensive philosophies? Is that a part of something that you can do?
Yeah, I think on the pitching side, we say we're always the one that sets the table and the hitters have to eat off our table. And it goes through trends. When I got to Boston in 14 and 15, we started leveraging high fastballs, more spin. Hitters didn't have a solution for it because pitchers had mainly been pitching at the bottom of the zone with their fastball. They had to come up with a swing to handle the high fastball. And then we were able to then flip that in San Francisco and start sinking the ball again and leverage some of the newer physics concepts to really make the ball sink, and then hitters had to come up with a swing for that. So we're always setting the trends, the hitters have to react, so we always have the advantage of being the first mover.
You've seen, I'm sure, tape of some of the guys that are Michael Kopech's up and down rough year. You see ways to kind of help them get back to who you think he can be?
Yeah, part of being around the game a long time, I had Michael in Boston. He was part of the sale trade. I'm a big believer in him. We've already had some initial discussions, and my sweet spot has always been helping pitchers that are either coming off a down year or have lost their identity a little bit, and really getting in there and building trust with them and helping them identify what makes them a productive major league pitcher, and just walking alongside them in that process.
Do you see any things that are fixable, correctable there for him?
For sure. I know he just had the knee issue, but going forward, there are things we did in Boston that I'm looking to also do here, and I think we can give him what he needs to take his game to another level like he was a couple years ago.
You worked with Ethan. What is that relationship like?
Ethan and I went out to dinner last night. Ethan's tremendous. Very high aptitude. The pitchers have tremendous respect for him. There's things he's really, really good at, and there's things that I feel like I can complement him really well at, and I think those types of relationships are always the best, where we complement each other, we enjoy each other's company, we can have honest, deep discussions about a variety of topics without any pride or ego in the way, really ultimately just to get the most out of the pitchers. And the pitchers sense that and feel that.
You mentioned previous relationship with Chris. What was that like? And also, what do you kind of think of his vision for this team moving forward?
Yeah, I think he's excited, and I'm excited to work with him. We were in Kansas City together a long time ago now, 13 years ago. But ultimately, he knows how special this franchise is, and we want to put a winning product on the field, and we want to do it in a way that's sustainable and long-term. And there's going to be tough choices, tough decisions that he's going to have to make, but we're going to put a lot of thought into it and bring all of our collective talent and experience to the table. And I'm a huge believer in his, and that's a big part of why I want to be here.
AJ mentions in the chat, Barfy and Banny have changed how I feel about the Getz hire already. Herb, your thoughts?
I think both of those guys, and I haven't heard from Watson yet, have impressed me. The hires initially, when they happen, very quick to jump on those hires, and there's been nothing but positive words across Major League Baseball for the White Sox acquiring this good upper front office talent that they have. Now, we said the same thing about Pedro Grifol, as he came highly recommended too. So the results will have to speak for themselves. But hearing them on the mic, how, as Matthew Lucas says, how comfortable they are in front of microphones. And it seems like these guys already have a solid plan and how they're going to attack the people they have on the current roster and people they're going to be looking for in the free agent market or elsewhere to be having on this White Sox team to make them better in 2024 and beyond.
And I think the thing that makes me most excited is what we've seen from Bannister in San Francisco. Like, we didn't see Pedro as a manager before, but we've seen Brian Bannister address the Giants pitching, right? And be the person that kind of sets the direction for the pitching, hence the name director of pitching that he developed himself. Because he says that in the transcript, that when he first got to Boston, they didn't know what to call him. He was just kind of a scout. He was just kind of an analyst. But then he got, created his own title and created director of pitching. And I'm really excited hearing what he talks when he talks. There was a quote from Jeff Passan back from the ALDS of Game 3, and he said, and he was at the point, Red Sox VP of Pitching Development, I almost wonder if we're getting to a point where roles aren't defined. I'm not a starter. I'm not a reliever. In the postseason, I get outs. And I think we saw that in San Francisco. They are looking for guys to get them outs. If Logan Webb can get them 6 innings, great. If we need to go Sean Manaea for 3, Ross Stripling for 3, then bullpen for the rest, great. But they are so good at developing pitchers and understanding, what makes those pitchers excel. And that's why we see Gregory Santos and Nick Avila being cast-offs of the Giants organization, and those players possibly being 2 pieces that the White Sox could have added to their Major League bullpen this year. They chose not to do that with Avila, but he's been great in the Giants organization. And there was one quote from Bannister, too, where he says, and this is what got me most excited, on the pitching side, we say we're always the ones who set the tables, and hitters have to eat our tables. It goes through trends. When I got to Boston in 14 and 15, we started leveraging high fastballs, more spins. Hitters didn't have a solution for it. It's because pitchers have mainly been pitching at the bottom of the zone with their fastball. They had to come up with a swing to handle the high fastball, and we were able to flip that in San Francisco and start sinking the ball again and leveraging some of the newer physics concepts to make that ball sink. And then hitters had to come up with a swing for that, so we're always setting the trends. That's great. I mean, hell, I want the White Sox to be the trendsetters. I want the White Sox to be on that front edge. And if that means a little less investment on the player side and more investment on the development side and the analytical side, I'm fine with that, honestly. If they don't go over $100 million for a player solo, that's fine. But as long as they keep a high enough budget to be outspending the AL Central and now having this developmental side, I'm all for it. I don't know if...
Just one thing before we go to Vinny. It's... with Jerry Reinsdorf's well-established philosophy on pitching and how he's not going to pay a pitcher for a certain amount of years. He said 10 in the interview, but it's always been established that he's not going to be really going for 5 years plus on pitchers. You have to employ a thing where you develop your own pitchers and have just also-rans. Like Ross Stripling was an all-right pitcher for the Dodgers, but they have taken him and the Giants and elevated him to the next level. Same thing with Kevin Gausman with the Orioles. He was also ran, went to the Giants, became the pitcher he is now in Toronto. Well, before he was Giants, now in Toronto. So if you're going to do that, you can do that with pitchers like Touki Toussaint, the Jose Uriñas of the world, and not spin and break the bank on them. And when it's time for them to actually cash in on a big-time contract, you can decide, hey, man, it's way too expensive. And we already have our own philosophy. We can develop most pitchers in our philosophy to be what we want them to be without breaking the bank for that ace pitcher somewhere else. And then you would have a little bit more money to play with your other acquisitions. If you need a right fielder who's a big-time money guy, you can maybe allocate that money to him instead of going to the pitchers.
Yeah, Herb, you hit the nail right on the head. I think that's kind of what I was going to bring up, is that the 2 prongs that he talked about a lot, Brian Bannister today, take all of that philosophy, that lower level stuff, and apply it to the guys that have been drafted or are going to be drafted to create that long-term success. And then we're talking about, how is this team going to be even mildly competitive next year with all the stuff that they have to do? Well, you just brought it up. Maybe they don't need to go out and get Aaron Nola or Blake Snell. Not that they shouldn't, but, you have Brian Bannister saying that his sweet spot is in helping guys who are coming off down years, guys who have lost themselves a little bit. And, you can take maybe 3, 4, 5 shots, whether on small major league deals or minor league deals, and say, come over here. We'll give it a try to fix you. And maybe Brian Bannister can fix you. And that might be something that could help the White Sox compete a lot quicker than folks might be thinking. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but it is a roadmap maybe that the White Sox have at their disposal that they might not have as much confidence in without the guy who was talking to us today.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more thrilled with this. I don't want to get too excited because I got so excited for Pedro, but it does seem like Josh Barfield and Brian Bannister have been solid hires. They have been on the job for 2 weeks, so again, I'm not going to pat them on the back for nothing they haven't done yet, but like my anxiety is definitely qualmed after hearing Barfield and Bannister speak, and I'm honestly a little bit more interested in what Chris Getz will actually do this offseason, because now I'm kind of willing to give him a shot, and I'm interested just to see who they pull off the heap and who they think that they could walk next to and try to bring back from a bad year, whether it be Bannister on the pitching side or whoever they have in the hitting side to address that as well. And hey, we might not see the end of hires for Chris Getz. I mean, he might be looking for somebody who's on a playoff team and might be able to snag someone away, after the offseason. So this team might not be fully completed from the front office side, and maybe Chris Getz has a grander vision that just can't be settled just yet. And I'm excited to see what it is, because honestly we have no choice. But also the two guys that we've heard so far have been tolerable. I'll say that. No, I don't want to go too much over the top.
Very impressive. And like I said with Pedro, winning the press conference is not what you necessarily aspire to do. But if it was a thing, these two have won us over. And now I'm still very skeptical. I know you are too, Sean and Vinny, that this will all work out because you're giving a first-year manager or first-year general manager this big-ass assignment. But hearing these two guys speak already, I just feel like the White Sox have made hires that I approve of, and it looks like they're going in a different direction than what they have in the past, where they're just doing the same old moves, kind of inexpensive moves to see if they can win a championship in the AL Central. Now it seems like, hey, let's get the advantage in our front office, the organizations build championships type of way, where we have a system in our pitch lab, we have a system in our hitting lab, which I haven't seen yet, that produces actual good results because we have good studies and good people who teach the studies to do it in the games. And so if Brian Bannister has a extensive list of people that he has worked with and have improved after that, I'm excited, like you said, with him and Michael Kopech. Don't they have a history somewhere in their time together?
He spoke about it in the video, yeah. Boston, before the Sale trade.
Yeah.
I mean, he was there since 14, and the Sale trade went down at 17, right? Or 16? 16. So he had about 2 years with Kopech there. So, and again, we heard from Kopech today. I wasn't there. Vinny heard from Kopech today and filmed it, and then I watched it. But we'll have more Kopech talk, because honestly, that's like the biggest discussion topic, I think, heading into 2024. We don't know if Yoán Moncada will be healthy in 2024. We just kind of have to wait and see. Can Luis Robert do this again in 2024? We'll just have to wait and see. Can Andrew Vaughn improve in 2024? We'll have to wait and see. But Michael Kopech, I think there's so many interesting layers to this. Will he be a starter? Will he be a reliever? It seems like Bannister is very high on him. And then Kopech talked today about his knee and what was bothering him, and how, we brought up that this was an issue in 2022. Then it was an issue in 2023. It does seem like they have attacked this cyst aggressively and have removed it, and hopefully that means good things for his knees from here on out. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. Second to last post game, though. We got one more on Sunday, then we'll be done for the 2023 season. That's Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Go read his piece at allchgo.com about what Chris Getz had to talk about recently about his plan for 2024, what he knows about it so far, and also about the TA extension. Is there any final things that we might have missed from the Diamondback series that you want to shout out here? No? Okay. Vinny's excited to go home before 4:30, I think. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. It's 4:36.
We'll be staying here.
Yeah, and I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. Herb and I got Big Ten After Dark at 6. Thank you to Sarah for producing it. And we'll see you on Sunday for Sox Padres for Game 162. See you then.